we said before this season that we wanted more points than last year. We want to play the final here. So the start of this season hasn't been as good as we hoped. So for me, and I think for a lot of players, that was a must-win. So it was a good feeling. I would say, especially the first 25 minutes, it felt really good. And then we stepped back a little bit, trying to protect Cam maybe too much to 2-0, and gave them the momentum to play. But we got 3-1, and I'm very happy with that.
Coach kind of called it sloppy. I mean, a win's a win. You'll look at it later in the year, and it says 3-1, but there were some sloppy times. You talk about kind of the drop-offs?
Yeah, you could say sloppy. I would say maybe nervous a little bit. Like I said, we needed the 3 points, and we had it, so we didn't want to lose it. So maybe we too much had that in our back of our heads, that we wanted to protect it. We wanted to make sure that we don't lose these 3 points, because we had a rough start this year. Both the points that we have or didn't get, and the red cards that we got against us as well. So we had a rough start this year, and I think that's a little bit back in our heads, that we know that we needed 3 points today.
4 points in the last 2. Moving to LA here on Sunday, how's the team's mindset moving into a hard week of training?
I mean, it's good, especially if we look back at the first 25 minutes of the game. And I think if we just continue playing like that, we're going to start collecting a lot more points. So we just have to learn from this. I mean, it's still a pretty good game because we won 3-1. But we have to learn from what we did the first 25 minutes and take it from there.
I watched Ozzy during most of warm-ups, and he looked jacked up. He looked just fired up. 1, how was it to play next to him? And 2, you were playing with him, warming up. Could you tell that he was fired up for his first start of the year?
Yeah, of course. And I told him before we went out to warm up, if you don't do good, I'm gonna chase you and kill you. So I'm sure he was fired up.
And what was it like to have him next to you? Competition for places as the team gets healthy is going to be ratcheted up, but how was it having him next to you?
I mean, he's a good player. He's both experienced and he's hungry, and he wants to win, and he wants to play soccer in a good way. So he is a really good player, and the more players we have that are really hungry, that wants to win games, the better it's for the team. So it's great to have a lot of good players around you.
And finally, what did Minnesota do that was difficult on the defense? Between either Dunladi or Quintaro and Tissan on the left. What did they do that was difficult?
They have a lot of pace. I mean, it's a fast team. So it was hard for us sometimes, especially when they got openings to play the ball behind us. But we managed pretty good, I think. Could have done sometimes a little bit better, but it's a team that have a lot of pace, and they do a lot of crosses as well, and they scored on a cross. So it was difficult sometimes, but I think that if we just stepped up a little bit higher, if we had a little bit more courage to step higher and try to take back the game, we'd won this game more easy.